My name is Dawn Ennis. I'm from Forbes.com, and greetings from the University of Hartford podcast studio, where in addition to writing for Forbes.com, I'm also a professor. Hello.
Hello, Dawn. How very nice to meet you. We haven't talked before, have we?
No, this is my first time speaking to you, sir. And I was a child actor, may I say, from age 5 until 17, until I realized that's not what I wanted to do with my life.
Really? And did you do a lot of work when you were a child, of acting work?
Well, who's asking the questions today? I did do a lot of commercials and modeling, but I didn't do any plays because, believe it or not, my mother didn't want me in the theater because it would take up too much time and prevent me from earning money for my family. That was the only reason I was an actress.
Listen, my first job at 15 was a newspaper reporter. So there are similarities here, what we do.
Patrick, should I call you Sir Patrick Stewart? I don't know what to call you.
You can call me whatever you wish, Patrick or Pat. Pat was how I was known for 40 years in the UK. I was Pat Stewart. And it always gives me great pleasure when I run into old friends and they say, Pat, how great to see you again. Because nobody these days ever thinks of me as Pat.
But well, I'm blessed to call you Pat then, because I used to be Dawn. I'm a transgender woman. And whenever somebody comes up to me and says Dawn, I tell them, no, it's Dawn. And that's one of the reasons I picked that name, because it almost sounds similar, you know?
Well, it's actually being pronouncing in an American way, Dawn.
Yes, or New York way.
If I were American or in a New York way, I would probably say Dawn.
Well, let me ask you, if you don't mind.
Your name is Dawn.
Dawn. Like I had the high hair and I walked the dog and I parked the car. Pat, if I might ask you, in the time I have left, I've seen 3 episodes and it really seems to be about love. Would you talk to me about what Star Trek Picard Season 2 has to do with love?
Well, incidents in Season 1 have confirmed for Jean-Luc that there are mistakes in his life. Now, this is a huge thing for him to acknowledge. Misunderstandings about his mother, about his father, about what happened in his childhood. And a lot of it has been self-protecting. He's beginning to peel away those layers of protection and expose himself. And that means that he is also exposing himself in what might be called a romantic way, which I have enjoyed immensely because I've been working with such wonderful actresses. And I'm proud that we've done this in the way we have, and not just simply, here's Jean-Luc, he's the same guy as he was before, but he's different. And I've enjoyed that.
He's vulnerable. One of the things I want to ask you, and I only have a minute left, so it's the last question I'm going to ask. You and Ian have both been such great advocates for the LGBT community. And I wanted to know if that was going to continue in Star Trek Picard in terms of being there for my community.
Yes, I think it is going to. That is what I have heard. And I will encourage it as much as I possibly can, because it is in what is a very troubled world currently. There are elements, and this being one of them, where you see that we are at long last beginning to grow up and become real adults who have an open view of the world and of life. And it's one of the things that I make myself think about every day when I read the front page of the newspaper, and it's all so grim and dark. My friendship with Ian is as important as anything that I have in my life. And my wife also is in love with him, which makes it quite an easy relationship. He married us. He got certified for performing an authentic marriage ceremony, and so we have him to thank for the fact that we are together and that we're staying together. When I look into the future and the work I might do, what you have just said actually plays a part in it. So we'll see.
Thank you so much, Pat. Thank you. Please give my best to your wife and to Ian. I've been given a rap cue.
Bye-bye, Dawn.
Hello,
Hey, Danny. Hi.
Michelle. I almost feel like I should say hi from SVU because you and I were both on SVU, if you can believe it, but in different episodes. I was an extra in PC, and I think that's after your time.
Probably after my time, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just really cool to meet you. And Jerry,
Oh,
thank
my
you very much.
SVU sister there.
I had to play a lesbian who was witness to a rape, and we were protesting in the streets, and we spent like 12 hours in the street in January, freezing.
Oh,
one of my girlfriends said, we could have made more money at the Holland Tunnel.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
But let's not go there.
That's not
wrong, but yeah.
I got to ask right off the top, is Christophe and, make sure I get the name right, Garrett, are they okay with this new relationship that we're exploring in season 2?
I think so.
They're just okay with any relationship as they're going to be with an on-camera relationship.
Exactly. And Garrett worked with Jerry. Didn't you guys work together?
Yeah,
You did.
we worked
Yeah.
together.
So
That's beautiful.
who could say
on
no to Jerry?
SVU?
Who could say no to Jerry Ryan? Let's just all talk about that. Who says no to Jerry Ryan? Come on now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I got to tell you, when we saw the hands at the end of season 1, all of us in the LGBT community, I'm a transgender woman, we were all like, yes, yes, this is what we wanted. And I read that this all came from a Comic-Con photo.
Yep. You can thank Jonathan Delarco for this. Our Hugh.
I got to interview him. He's great. Wonderful.
Johnny's a sweet.
Yeah,
It was Jerry and Michelle's idea. We were actually at we were at an event.
Literally, it was sort of like after one of the panels, and we were in the backstage area or sort of kind of roof deck, something or other, where everybody congregates. And Jonathan said, "Hey, why don't you guys take a picture?" I remember Jerry was wearing this fabulous red, was it a red suit or dress, or it was gorgeous, red, and I was wearing this white thing, and we just kind of like hugged each other or whatever, took a picture.
They put their arms around each other.
Jonathan was like, "Oh my God, this is so gorgeous. We have to show the producers." We walked over to the producers, showed them the picture on the cell phone.
And Jerry and Michelle walked up to me and they said, "We know what we want to do for the next season."
And literally, this is what Jerry and I witnessed. We saw our producers sort of go.
But Siobhan and I were like, "That's great."
Yeah, they're like, "You guys are a couple." So
But Jerry, you were doing that in Voyager. You were trying to get the LGBT represented, and it didn't happen. But now it's happening. And tell me why that's important.
Oh my God, this is what Star Trek has always represented: is inclusion.
Yep.
And diversity. And we need to represent and include all parts of our society. And this character, there's no better character to do this particular storyline with than Seven. And even back in Voyager, it didn't happen then because, it was 20 years ago. It was a different time. It was on network television. They had different, the standards and practices and blah, 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 blah. But this is the perfect character to bridge this kind of storyline with, because she wasn't even human. There are no preconceptions with her. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Also, wouldn't it be nice to think like in the future, we don't have to like put labels on whatever, that we actually, if my heart speaks to that heart, let me go to that heart.
And it should be a non-issue. Yeah.
It should be a non-issue.
I talked to Pat. He let me call him Pat. Sir Patrick Stewart. We're talking about love. This season 2 seems to be starting off talking about love.
Yeah.
In its various forms. Yeah.
And connections, right? And how we can find our authentic selves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's very much, I think, what the season for all of these characters is. Love in its different forms and finding your authentic self. That's always been Seven's struggle to begin with, is, the struggle between her Borg and human halves, and finding out who am I really, and where do I fit in, and where do I belong, and what part of me is real? What is who am I? And that's this is a big step on her journey.
What a thrill to talk to both of you. I look forward to all the episodes, and thank you for giving us a voice.
Thank you.
Live long and prosper.
Long and prosper.
Thank you.
Take care. Hello, Mr. Delancey.
Hello. Nice talking to you.
Well, John, I've been a fan since, oh, well, that old show, Next Generation, and seen you on so many other wonderful productions. I'd like to ask you, first of all, what's it like being photoshopped to be younger?
I'm just finding out about that. I haven't seen the show, so I guess that they've done that. Can they come here and do the same thing?
Wouldn't we all like that? Maybe just the ability to snap and be.
I'm
different age.
trying.
It's not working. It's not working. John, I am an LGBT woman. I'm transgender. And one of the things I've loved about Star Trek since I was little was that it always meant acceptance, and it meant that I was welcome and that I could be different and still be loved and still be part of everything. Q sort of throws all that into the mix and says, I'm the most different person you'll ever see, and I can change anything. What message do you think this season of Star Trek Picard is sending to my community, the LGBT community?
People, in being sort of quippy in these conventions, people would ask me, and I would go, they would ask me about, gender stuff, and I go, I'm bisexual.
That's right. You're just presenting in the male body. It doesn't necessarily.
So love it. So
I read that when you first did the Encounter at Farpoint, this was basically a one-shot kind of thing, 2 episodes, and you're this malevolent character, and who knows?
Yeah. One episode.
It was 1 episode. Did you foresee that this could possibly become something that would last so many years of your career?
No. You said something that reminded me. I haven't thought about this in years. What makes Star Trek so special? I was in Scotland, and back then they were little conventions, little shows, right? Which allowed people to come in under this umbrella called Star Trek to get some respite from the bright sun and to feel a sense of community. We are at a dinner, and I'm across from, lots of people are talking, and I'm across from a woman, a very attractive, very smart woman. And we're talking, what have you, and the people got up to dance. This is like in a little pub. Okay?
Yeah.
She gets up to dance. She has 2 club feet.
Huh.
And I went, and she got up to dance.
Didn't care in the world. Yeah.
She felt comfortable in amongst all of us. And I went, wow. There's something very special about this show because of that. The inclusion that this show asks you to take on.
From all of us Star Trek fans, we love what you do. We hope to see more of you, and thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Well, that was fast. Okay.
It was. Yeah. I wish we had more time. Live long and
fast.
prosper, Mr. Delancey. Take care. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm a big fan. I just saw the first 3 episodes. I can only talk about the first one because I don't want to give any spoilers out. But tell me, what's your vibe so far in terms of what you've done and where the series is going this season?
I was really excited. Elnor pretty much fulfilled a lifelong dream of mine, and that was to, enter Starfleet Academy. It was just a very exciting, fun experience. And like the pace, I'd say, was the biggest change. I mean, like we hit the ground running in the first episode, which is a lot different to how the first season played off.
Definitely. There was sort of a ramp up, build up. And in this case, we right in the first scene. What about Santiago? Would you tell me a little bit about how your character has changed so far? We've seen you play 2 characters this season, yourself and your hologram.
Yeah, and even like Rios' first discovery is a surprise in itself in terms of what ship he's commanding. But I love that this show was going to be different in the sense of not necessarily being in uniforms and the Starfleet of old, but I did really enjoy getting a taste of what that would have been like, and I get a little feel for it, and I get to play that for a while, and that was great fun. The story goes in a whole different direction as it always does, which keeps it exciting, and there's definitely a lot of that this season.
Miss Briones, will we hear you sing again?
Oh, well, I cannot confirm nor deny that, but I did very much enjoy singing Blue Skies season 1. That was a dream that I didn't even know I had. And when it was presented, I near fainted, because I found out while I was on the red carpet for the premiere of season 1, and Alex Kurtzman just kind of like drops that bomb, and I was just like didn't even know what to think. And it was an amazing experience, and something so beautifully like iconic for obviously for Data's legacy, and for now the continued legacy with Soji. Getting to do that was just a really special experience in the kind of bookending of season 1 and Data's character and my relationship with him.
I happen to be a transgender woman. A lot of the things I write about at Forbes are about the LGBT community. I'm not familiar with any of your personal lives and don't want to invade your personal lives, but if anyone has an opinion about how Star Trek speaks to our community, I would really love to hear that.
I mean, I think what Star Trek has always done, and why I feel like it's really telling when you see the fan base, how inclusive the fan base of Star Trek is, seeing the amount of LGBTQ fans that show up to our conventions and everything. You see that these stories are telling stories about people who have felt outside, who have felt othered, who have felt like they didn't quite belong in the box that this world has put them in, and they have gravitated toward something that tells those stories, and they see themselves in these characters and shows hope for them, hope for all of us, and hope in finding a family. And I think also with fans, they have found each other and found that like they have like-minded family that they can lean on with this franchise, with these series. And it's a really beautiful legacy that Gene Roddenberry has made for so many generations now.
Talk about the diverse cast. We have such a wonderfully diverse cast on Picard from all different places around the world. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are about that.
That's the beauty of it. It's been diverse since day one in the very first series. And to be honest, it feels, I feel privileged being able to kind of continue that legacy, and look at how far we've come through all of the series, even Discovery that's on now. Like, it's it's momentous. And it's great to have, the next person that's going to be watching this show, like hopefully, they see any of us on the screen and they're like, that's me, and I belong, and I feel, I don't feel so alone.
Yeah, I think being part of something that they were pioneers in TV in that respect, a legacy of Star Trek is incredible, and also the stories it tackles. If you see this season, even the theme of the season is very much about that, about who are we as humans, and we see this totalitarian state at the beginning of what could be, and what this other side that we could very easily go to. So I think it's on the screen, it's behind the scenes, and it's also very much part of the storytelling. And I think that's it's great to tackle those big subject matters for sure.
Thank you very much, everyone. Live long and prosper, and have a great day in your junket world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my old friend.
Hello, my old friend. It's lovely to see you.
Akiva, last time we met, we was on the red carpet when Star Trek Discovery was just first rolling out, 2017. Oh my God.
My God.
How the heck did you know who I am?
Well, you're still you. You may have different hair and you may use a different pronoun, but you're you.
You're amazing. I just didn't think that would be possible, but thank you.
Oh.
Tell me if you can, because I only have a little bit of time. How are you incorporating my community, the LGBT community, and are there other people who are part of the community who are infusing that kind of acceptance in Star Trek Picard?
Well, I think that, what we did, very specifically there, we have a lesbian couple who are going through, the same shit all couples go through. I think that is fun for us and fun for them. I think as we move more, I think the show that moves more towards, a more progressive, or the most progressive view right now is probably Discovery, where, I think it has sort of taken as part of its identity, a specific inclusion of your community. I think that Picard and Strange New Worlds are just a little bit more everybody in the boat. It's a little bit more sort of like the inclusive future. So you never know what you're getting here, there, everywhere when it comes to gender or race. And when I say race, I mean human or not human, or, so that's what I think.
That's great. And I understand if we're going to focus on Picard, but can you give me one sentence? How did you get involved with Strange New Worlds? Because I read that when they started suggesting Pike, you said, "All right, I want that."
It's even weirder than that. Alex invited me to work on Discovery. He was away. I didn't know what the show was. I looked on the internet. I'm a Star Trek fan, obviously, and I read it was all about Number One and Pike. So I ran and showed up, and it wasn't about Number One and Pike at all. And from that moment, I started agitating for a Pike show.
Can I ask you, please, 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 would you whisper in Alex's ear? I did the same thing to Michelle Paradise. We just want one recurring out transgender woman character, just one, somewhere in any series.
Yes, I will.
All right. What I want to ask you is this. Right now, we've got so much going on. I've seen 3 episodes of Picard. It's such a different tone. How did you accomplish this? Because I thought most people really like the sort of, progressive adult themes, but this is really an action series, season 2.
Yeah, we move around in tone season to season, I think, and themes will emerge, obviously, but this one is much more rock and roll, probably, and we wanted the first season to be about sort of resurrection, and that's a more meditative tone. And then season 2 is about redemption and looking inward and looking backward. And that's a journey.
How cool is it to have Whoopi back? And please tell me, we're not just going to see her once, right? She's going to be back again, I hope.
We're not going to just see her once. And for me, that's where I was starstruck. I am old enough to remember her stand-up on PBS, which when she was just beginning, and she's Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, I lose words.
The Color Purple, so many wonderful Ghost, so many wonderful performances, and you know what? I still love her on The View, and I think that this is one of the icons of our age.
I agree.
Pat, Sir Patrick Stewart, let me call him Pat.
Yeah.
He told me that he hopes that in representation of the LGBT community, that he's sending a message that all people are welcome. And is that a Star Trek thing? Because, believe it or not, there are a lot of people out there who just want to see shoot 'em ups.
Yeah, I think that Star Trek has always been foot forward, in terms of values. It's not a value neutral show. We never have been. I think in any iteration, it's always been an aspirational and inclusive future. I mean, and I think that that's part of what makes Star Trek, is that we're opening our arms around anyone or anything that we perceive as different, and learning that there are bridges and commonalities amongst all thinking, living, breathing beings, and love and connection and intimacy is possible and necessary. And boy, does the world need to hear that these days.
More than ever. Akiva, live long and prosper. It was great seeing you virtually. I can't wait till I see you again in person.
You too.
Give you a hug. Take care.
Take care.
Would you say goodbye to Maya for me? My BFF, Maya?
Oh, Maya, yes, of course. Goodbye. Thank you for helping us.